Payday is still days away, and your wallet is nearly empty. Have you ever let out a quiet sigh on a night like that? You walk through the grocery store, checking every price tag, picking something up, then gently setting it back on the shelf. You stand in the checkout line, adding up the total in your head, your heart beating just a little faster. And when that same moment comes back month after month, something inside you slowly starts to wear down. Maybe you've caught yourself thinking things like, why can't I ever seem to get it together? Things come so easily to other people. Why not me? If I just had a little more money, life would be so much easier. Money worries carry a weight that's hard to describe. Eating, sleeping, raising children, every single thing that makes life livable is tied to money in some way. And so the fear of not having enough quietly becomes something deeper. A fear of whether you can keep going at all. Today I'd like to share a story with you. A story from 2,500 years ago. For anyone who has ever carried that kind of heaviness, please stay with me just a little longer. There was once a merchant in ancient India who owned nothing but a single bolt of cloth. Each morning he would wake before dawn and carry it to the market, hoping to sell enough to buy rice for his family's dinner. One season a flood destroyed his cloth, and he sat by the roadside, watching other merchants pass by with their full carts, certain that his life was over. But an old woman stopped and asked him to help her carry water from the well, not for payment but because her hands were too weak. He did, and in doing so discovered something that surprised him. His fear had quieted, just for a moment, because he was no longer alone in it. When he finally found work again weeks later, he realized the merchant next to him at market was also trembling, also checking his coins, also wondering if it would be enough. About 2,500 years ago, on the sun-baked plains of ancient India, there lived a man known as the Buddha. One clear morning, he was walking with his disciples from village to village. Along the dusty road, he came across a farmer sitting alone on the ground, collapsed against the earth. The farmer's face was dark with sorrow. He stared at the ground and wouldn't lift his eyes. The Buddha stepped quietly toward him and asked, "What's happened? What's troubling you?" The farmer said nothing for a long moment. Then slowly, the words came. "The harvest failed again this year. Not enough rain. The rice barely grew. I can't even feed my children properly. Why does heaven give all the suffering to me?" The Buddha listened in silence. After a pause, he said gently, "Can you tell me what you have?" The farmer looked up, a little startled. "What I have? I have nothing. That's why I'm sitting here in despair." The Buddha continued, his voice soft and even. "Did you wake up this morning?" "Yes." "Were you able to walk here on your own feet?" "Well, yes, I suppose." "Did you see the faces of your family today? Did you hear their voices?" The farmer had no answer. The Buddha spoke gently, "You already have a great deal. It's simply that your eyes have forgotten how to see it." The farmer sat still for a moment. Then slowly, for the first time, he lifted his head. Clouds drifted across the sky above him. From somewhere in the distance, he heard the laughter of children. That sound had always been there, but on that day, for the first time, it reached him. His heart, which had been locked tight as a fist, began to open like a flower, turning toward the sun. The Buddha rose to his feet and continued down the road with his disciples, leaving the farmer kneeling in the dust, not in despair now, but in gratitude for the breath moving through his body, for the earth beneath him, for the simple miracle of being alive. And in the years that followed, that farmer became known throughout the villages as a man of great wisdom, for he had learned the deepest teaching, that suffering ends not when our circumstances change, but when we truly see what has been ours all along. What was the Buddha really trying to say to that farmer? He wasn't saying, "It's fine not to have money." He wasn't saying, "Endure your poverty and be silent." What he was pointing to was this: much of our suffering doesn't come from what we lack, it comes from losing sight of what we already have. In Buddhist teaching there is a phrase, knowing sufficiency. It may sound abstract at first, but put simply, it means this: noticing what you already possess. The human mind has a strange habit. It focuses intensely on what it doesn't yet have, while treating everything it does have as ordinary, invisible, unremarkable. A body that moves, eyes that see, ears that hear, the sky that brightens every morning, the rest that comes at night, a conversation with another person, a meal on the table. These things only reveal their true weight when they're gone. While we have them, we rarely notice them at all. In Buddhism, this is sometimes called delusion, not in a harsh sense, but simply the state of not seeing clearly, of being blind to what is right in front of us. The Buddha taught that one of the root causes of human suffering is exactly this kind of blindness. In the practice of cultivating a knowing sufficiency heart, he called it contentment. It means waking up to the fullness already present in your life. This isn't about suppressing desire or giving up on growth. It's about being able to stand steadily on the ground of who you are right now. When anxiety runs high, the mind is pulled again and again toward not enough, not enough. But if we pause for just a moment and ask ourselves, what do I actually have today? The inner landscape can shift, even slightly, and sometimes that shift is everything. So how do we bring this teaching into the reality of our everyday lives? Let me be honest with you first. When money is genuinely running short, being told to know sufficiency can feel sharp, even cruel. Don't give me platitudes, you might think, and that feeling is completely understandable. So what I want to offer here isn't a way to make money worries disappear, it's something quieter, a shift in where you place your attention. When finances fall apart, it's not only fear that rises, it's self-condemnation. I'm such a failure, I can never get this right. I'm terrified of what comes next. Those voices loop endlessly inside the mind. In those moments, here's one small thing I'd ask you to try. Before you fall asleep tonight, recall just one thing from the day that felt okay. It doesn't have to be significant. The coffee tasted good. The sky was a beautiful shade of blue. Someone said thank you. That's enough. This isn't wishful thinking, it's how the mind actually works. Whatever we focus on tends to grow larger in our perception. When our attention stays fixed on fear, the fear expands. But when we gently, consistently turn towards small, good things, space begins to open up inside us. In the Buddha's words, this is the practice of contentment in daily life. You don't have to do anything grand, just build the habit of finding one small light in each day. And this too, money struggles are often carried alone. We feel ashamed. We don't want to worry others, so we hold it all inside. But the Buddha reminds us, sharing your burden with someone is not weakness. In fact, it is precisely how human beings become connected. It is how we create meaningful bonds. Find even one person you trust, and let yourself say, I'm struggling a little right now. Just that. That small act alone can make the weight feel different. Please keep working toward a more stable life. That effort matters. But alongside that effort, please also keep a quiet eye out for what you already have today. There is only one thing I want to leave with you today. When we feel like we don't have enough, we often turn that feeling on ourselves. We decide we are not enough. But the Buddha says this, you are alive. And in that alone, do you know how much you are already carrying? The suffering of financial hardship is real. I'm not asking you to minimize it. But you, whoever you are watching this to the very end, you still have a heart that feels. You still have the energy to reach for something. You still have the desire to change. That is something precious, truly precious. Tonight, before you close your eyes, look for just one thing. Something small that was okay today. That small noticing, repeated gently over time, becomes the foundation your heart stands on. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope tonight finds you with a little more peace. Until next time, let's keep walking together. A student once told me she had nothing to offer the world, and so she offered nothing, until one day she simply noticed that she had made her friend laugh. That small thing changed everything. When you begin to see what you already have, you begin to see who you already are. And from that place of seeing, real change becomes possible, not because you suddenly become enough, but because you realize you always were.